Hello and welcome to Matterley Basin for the second edition of our Motocross Festival here at the British Grand Prix with me, Paul Malin, on our live exclusive show on MX Live TV. 3 guests coming up today: Dr. Wolfgang Searle, the director of the FIM CMS. We're going to have Harry Nolte, the general manager from CLS Kawasaki Pro Circuit, and also Neil Prince, the team manager from Team GB. So hopefully there'll be a little bit of inside information there in terms of his team selection for the upcoming Monster Energy Motocross of Nations. Well, we've got a pretty busy stack weekend here this weekend, and I'm going to come immediately to my first guest, Dr. Wolfgang Searle. Pleasure to have you on again. Doesn't seem like 12 months ago since we had you here last time on top of the Monster Energy station on the high end of the circuit, and I know your time is precious, but it's the second time we're here at the Motocross Festival at Matterley Basin, and judging by the amount of the crowds and the riders, it seems to be getting bigger and better, doesn't it?
So first of all, good afternoon. Pleasure to be with you, Paul. It's awesome. It's amazing, and what has been done started last year. The biggest of the big, and this year even bigger. 11 classes if you want, all the boys, whatever has wheels is here. It's amazing. It's wonderful to see the kids, to see the veterans, to see the girls, of course our stars. It's wonderful. It's the event, and it's so important to have it like that, because this goes to the whole world. And this shows motocross, it's law, it's life, it's strong, and our future is bright. I'm happy about it.
But there aren't many venues that can facilitate this kind of race, are there? I mean, when you look at the actual space, you know, around that we have for camping, for parking, the paddock space for the spectators to watch, it's a big area here at Matterley, isn't it?
Only a very, very few in the world, and I mean the world, can do it. It caters all these motorhomes, all these trucks, all the fans, all the tents. You need to be big. How many venues in the world?
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, not so many. So we're happy to be here. It's an awesome place. It's a wonderful circuit. When you come here, people are happy, and they just show this parade lap. This is it. This is it.
Well, one of the standout performances that we had last year was the parade lap from everybody from 65s right the way through to amateurs. Everybody sharing the track with the top world champions. We have that again tomorrow, don't we? In the morning.
We have that again tomorrow, and I still have in mind last year. And Dave Thorpe leading the pack, and the kids and the old boys and our heroes. And I tell you, I saw many officials and marshals having kind of tears in their eyes. And when they played then Land of Hope and Glory, about the moment of emotion, you cannot ask for more. It was sensational. And we see the same tomorrow.
I'm sure we will, and there are more riders, I think, this year. A slight increase on last year, which is why we think it's getting bigger.
It gets bigger and bigger, and therefore you're perfectly right. And not so many tracks and venues can cater that.
Yeah.
That's clear.
And it's obviously going to be a big moment for the guys on 65s, isn't it? We just saw Gianluca Facchetti in the 85 race, 2:22. No surprise to see that maybe his idol is going to be Tony Cairoli, sharing the same number, coming from Italy. It's going to be a dream for him riding around here with Tony, isn't it?
Paul, you have been a rider, and you were the last one on the team when England won Nations many years ago in Roggenburg. You still can feel a little kid riding with your gods, with your heroes a lap. This means you are close to Cairoli, you're close to them. What more can you ask for? These are moments, you cannot buy them. You cannot buy them. Yeah. You're part of it, and you have it for your whole life.
And I guess, you know, the whole thing about the festival here at Matterley Basin, you know, to give the kids the opportunity like that, not just to ride the parade lap with their heroes, their idols, but, you know, we're seeing the European Championship now is being introduced as part of the World Championship program. And we are looking at the start of tomorrow, aren't we? And all the teams, the major teams, whether it be, you know, the Monster Energy teams, the Rebel teams, the Rockstar teams, whoever, you know, all these guys are good to see the 65s here, the 85s here. One eye on the future to see where the next star of tomorrow is coming from.
So you need to build a track that fits the kiddies, the 65, and fits up to the MX1. So this is also this piece of art that has been done here. And a lot of credit goes to the track and goes to the track designers. And once again, what we see today, what we see tomorrow will be outstanding.
And talking of tomorrow, and we've just mentioned him a moment ago, Antonio Cairoli could take his 7th world title this weekend. Unbelievable. You know, it didn't seem like 5 minutes ago that Stefan Everts was reaching the milestone of 10 world titles, but to see Cairoli doing this so soon after the dominance of Stefan Everts, you know, let's look at how long Joe Robert's record of 6 titles stood for. And then, of course, you know, we seem to wait, and then Everts takes forever to get to 6, then suddenly 7, 8, 9, 10, bang, he goes. Where's the next star? Is anybody going to make 5 or 6? And Cairoli, all of a sudden, he's looking at 7.
What's good in our sport, nothing is forever.
Yeah.
And all the records needs to be challenged. And Tony has reached an age, he's close to 28, where he's very fast, a perfect team, and he's really smart and bright. And Also, he shows that you win your title on your bad days.
Yeah.
And so, speak frankly, Lockett was a bad day for him.
Yeah, fifth.
And, I mean, fifth. Others would be just happy to be fifth. So,
Yeah.
but you win it on your bad days. And on your bad days, you don't make DNF, you score. And this is where Tony is brilliant.
Yeah, and of course, you know, there are other champions that can be crowned. You know, we've got Paul Jonas can win the European 125. We've got Valentin Guerrero can be 250 champion this weekend. You know, there are different results that need to go their ways for that to happen. We saw a 150 Honda Series champion crowned yesterday, which is good for them because the prize for this guy was to win a ride on the Garibaldi Honda team in European Championship next year in 250.
Imagine that, what it means for a young boy. And what I think is so special that we run together the European Championship and the World Championship. So they run on the World Championship track, they get used to World Championship rules, they see the atmosphere, they see the crowd. So we breed our stars for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Very good.
Good to see the continued support of Monster Energy as well in the paddock. Massive, you know, we've taken it to another level, haven't we?
Yeah.
And obviously a big part of the festival.
Thanks God for that. They do such a good job. We love them. They give so much support for the sport, not only here, worldwide, and also I think we can give a lot back to them. But this is the deal, and this is it. Happy to have them here.
And had them heavily supporting the amateur race yesterday. I think it was £1,000 to the winner, 600 and 400 for second and third. So, you know, for the amateurs, it was you know, a good payday.
This
for
means one grand for the amateurs. Not so bad, huh?
Yeah.
Not so bad at all.
And I know your time is busy, so just before you leave, can you give us a brief, you know, recollection of your favourite points of the season? You know, how would you sum up 2013? I know we have this race and Leerop in 2 weeks' time, but and then of course the Monster Energy Motocross Nations. But in terms of the World Championship, how would you sum it up?
What else can I say? But it was a great season, and it gets, for me, it gets bigger and bigger year by year. We started with a wonderful overseas event, Qatar, the night race.
Yeah.
This was the big question mark. How will it be in the desert? In the night, will there be floodlight? Thailand, things were really well in Sriracha, Brazil. So we had a good season. We had outstanding races. We have great boys now, great teams, great boys. The championship is so good, and it grows year by year. So the sky's the limit. Maybe not.
Then at the end of the year, we've got the Monster Energy Motocross Nations Täuschental. It's going to be a big event.
Will be, my goodness, what will go on there?
Yeah.
Will the Americans strike back again? The big question.
That's what makes that event so interesting.
Join us in 2 weeks' time.
Dr. Wolfgang Schrepp, thank you for your time. I know it's precious on busy weekends like this, so thanks for joining us, and we'll see you throughout the rest of the year, I'm sure.
For sure. Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.
Dr. Wolfgang Schrepp there. So we'll let him leave the sofa, and we'll be back with our second guest, who's going to be the general manager for CLS Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki team. And of course, I'm talking about Harry Nolte. And Harry Nolte has been around for a number of years, even when I turned pro, back in around about, I don't even know when it was, but Harry Nolte, good to see you here, and thanks for taking the time to see us on the sofa. And how's things?
Oh, not too bad at the moment.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Come on, you need to speak up a little bit, because I know you're, well, actually you're a very quiet, shy man, but you've been around the paddock for a long time. Just before we continue about 2013 and what you're up to now, just some of the idea who the riders that you've worked with and some of the teams that you've worked with in the past, and how that's held you, in a good position to do the job you're doing now at CLS Kawasaki.
Yeah, I started off as a mechanic. I started with John van den Berg in 1984. I did that 4 years. Then I went to Cajiva with Gert-Jan van Doren.
When you were with, but 4 years with him, were you with him when he was world champion then at the Yamaha first year?
Yes, I was there. And then I went 1988 with Gert-Jan van Doren, Cajiva. Then went to Suzuki, where I worked with Pedro Trachter, Dave Strijbos, Donny Schmidt, Stefan Evert.
So you've been around a little bit, some major teams and some great riders.
Yes, great riders and a few world championships. Yeah.
We started this season with two MX2 riders, Alessandro Lupino and of course Arnold Tonas was a new signing. Both guys were, but haven't seen so much of Arnold. Why is that? I know we had an injury, but can you explain a little bit more about the background of that?
Yeah, he broke his leg pretty bad in Motocross Nations, and they put a rod in the leg, and afterwards it seems that was causing the problem all the time, the pain he had. Unluckily, they find out pretty late in the season that was causing the problem, so they took the rod out, and now it looks like it's okay now. So it's the first race back for him, but it's going to be difficult after only 4 weeks of practice, but anyway, he wants to try.
And you mentioned there he is back this weekend. We can see that from the image on the screen. Is he 100% fit, or Is he back just because he needs to get some time under his belt for maybe the Motocross of Nations at the end of September?
Yeah, I think that's the main goal now. You cannot expect he's 100% fit, and especially when you ride against guys who are racing the whole year already, and you're only 4 weeks back on the bike, so that's going to be very hard for him.
And what's the plan then for the next two GPs, this one and Leerop? Just to feel his way a little bit?
Yeah, just see what's happening, and we made quite good improvements on the bike, so we want to see how that is, and also start working for next season already and see how that goes.
And what about Alessandro Lupino? Again, another new signing, former 85cc World Junior Champion. He's 8th in the championship before we arrive here this weekend.
Yeah.
Should we, or should you have expected a little bit more from him? Because you know, there's a lot of prestige with the team that you have and that you guys run.
Yeah, for sure. We expect more from him. He started off in Qatar and Thailand, and then he was not too bad there. But the super finals, the way they run it, was really a disadvantage for him because he's not the best starter. And then, yeah, we all saw how that was in the super finals. The starts were so unbelievable important.
Yeah, and of course, just looking at images here from Bulgaria, he made the podium here, his first ever MX2 podium. Big for you because it was so early in the season, but even bigger for him, quite an emotional day for him.
Yeah, it was very emotional for him because I really thought from there he was continuing on the podium, but his starts are bothering him a lot, and his lap times are always good to be in the top 4, 5. But yeah, we work really hard to get the starts better with him, and he's also working really hard to get it better.
Is that when we hear riders say, you know, we struggle with the starts, but the bike is good elsewhere? You know, the lap times, like you just said, are pretty good. But is it the way that you have the bike set up now that, or is it his reaction times maybe aren't consistent enough to make good starts?
I think it's more him than the bike, to be honest. I think he's very inconsistent because we can see afterwards on the data it's not all the time the same what he's doing, and we try really everything with first gear, second, all the options with you know how that goes.
It's a busy time when you test.
Yeah, it's really busy, but we try to help him as much as possible.
Another good day for him was his home Grand Prix at Maggiora. First of all, it was great to go back to that race. I know you've been there a few times in the past. I raced there a couple of times as well. But for him, you know, the energy that he put into that last race, you know, to get podium overall in front of his home fans was just a great race to comment on, you know, from a neutral perspective. But I personally felt, you know, a lot of happiness for him in that race.
Yeah, it was really good for him, and also that kind of tracks is shooting him really good, and I think also this track again. And always the home GP, it looks like they can do something extra, so that was I think a really amazing race for everybody to watch, and for him especially.
Do you think that helped him with his confidence as well? Did you see an improvement in how he is as a person, just a bit more open, or is he still a little bit, you know, quite shy Alex?
He's quite shy, yeah, but that's the way he is, and yeah, he knows where he has to improve, and we know what we have to do. So.
Other rider in your team, obviously Tommy Searle. He's your MX1 rider. Just carrying on watching this action between Alessandro and Tonkov there at Maggiora. But, you know, both events, a good event for both those guys, but of course for Lupino. But Tommy Searle in MX1, you know, start of the season, it seemed from my perspective, looking out, he seemed happy just to be happy to finish 5th, 6th, something like that, just to find his feet in MX1. But is that how you would see the start of the season for him, how he first came into it?
Yeah, I think we were expecting a little bit more than he was doing in the beginning. He went to the USA and he did all the testing there. For some reasons we couldn't do a few races in the beginning of the year, so we didn't do anything before Qatar.
Yeah, the weather was...
Yeah, the weather, and then Houston Park was cancelled, and then we couldn't do Mantova, so we had no idea what to expect. We went to Qatar and Thailand, that was not too bad, but then we went to Valkenswaard and we saw we were struggling on these kinds of tracks. So then we had to start again with testing and all that kind of things, and I think we got it a lot better. But still, if you have to do everything during the season. So for next year we changed the plan. He's not going USA. We're going to do all the testing here, and I hope we can start better than this year.
It's not easy in MX1 though, is it? Do you think part of him thought it was going to be easier going from MX2, because like you look at him and Hurlings and I guess Cairoli before that and other guys, Paulin, they can run similar lap times to the guys in MX1 on MX2 bikes. So the natural instinct is to say, put me on an MX1 bike, I'll beat these guys. But it's not an easy class. There's a lot going on with the 450, isn't there?
Yeah, it's very, very difficult class. It's a matter of physically, of course, and there's so many good guys, and the start is pretty important. And I think one moment in the season he was really on it. Like Sweden, we all know he had to be on the podium. He got disqualified.
Yeah.
Then there was Latvia, where he was really fast and very unlucky with the left rider. Then was Finland. We also what happened there. Yeah, and then I think he lost a little bit of motivation for Czechia. But again, I really believe here he can do really good. He can finish on the podium.
So you think at the moment, if you were overall, summary of his season, you think he should have done better than 6th place in the championship where he is at the moment?
Yes.
Even in his first year?
Yes, yeah.
Of course, you talked about one or two of them. He had a few scrapes along the way, didn't he? Finland, you mentioned the disqualification in Sweden, but Finland, he had his battles with Clement de Searle.
Yeah.
On more than one occasion. It looked like that might spill over to the next race and the next race, but they've managed to contain it. But there was some good, hard, aggressive racing going on here, wasn't there? On both parts until maybe the last pass.
No,
or do you not see it like that?
No, racing is racing, and it's motocross, and it's hard. But I think there are limits what you do to each other, and if you bump into each other, that's okay. But if you do it 3 times in a row, I think that's a little bit over the limit.
Yeah, well, I think Malin got a yellow card, didn't he? He got a yellow.
Yeah, that's what I heard also afterwards. Yeah.
But here's one of the incidents there. Just a little bit of bump and grind going on. Of course, a lot of speed after that barge ran him straight off the track. But like I say, it's been a tough year in MX1. I think this was the one that was looked at. Just one little stab down the inside, and that's just, I guess, part of being in MX1. Not good to see again, but it's just one of the moments in that up and down season for him.
Yeah.
But in terms of the rest of the season, with Tommy, he won here last year, both races in MX2, which was obviously a big moment for you and for him, home crowd. How was he coming into this race? In terms of his mental state?
I think he's really motivated for this race.
Yeah.
Of course, you should be always motivated to do but no, it's normal you are more motivated for your home race than any other race. But there should not be a big difference.
Next year you've got a new signing in MX2.
Yes.
So you're keeping Arno Tonas, you're going to keep Alessandro Lupino, but coming from another Kawasaki team, coming to yours, Dylan Ferrandis, exciting talent.
Yeah, I think he's amazing. Just like many riders, we have to work with him in the sand.
Yeah.
Because it looks like the sand tracks make always the difference. So we all know how important the sand races are, and there you make on the hard tracks many riders are good or pretty similar. But on a sand track you have to finish top 3 if you want to win the World Championship.
He seems like a guy, was fast on 85s. He hit the scene 2 years ago in the Europeans. Could have been European champion, won almost all of the races. His first year in MX2 last year didn't go to plan. Another injury, which I guess some say, hampered the beginning of the season for him. It was a long winter layoff. But he seems again just to be coming, back to the level, doesn't he?
Yeah. It looks like the last few races he's really good. Depends also a little bit on the tracks. I noticed already a few times. But you have to be good on all the tracks. So that's something we have to work on really hard this winter. But I think he can be really good.
Yeah. And I guess from my opinion, he's had a second season now in MX2. It strikes me that he's ready. To be certainly challenging regularly for the top 5, and I guess you're hiring him for top 5, top 3s, podiums.
We hire him from top 3.
Yeah. And that's it, just top 3.
Yeah, no discussion.
But he can, we saw the performance in France, didn't we?
That's again was his home race, and I think last week in Belgium he was also really good. He got a bike problem in the first heat, but you can see his talent on that kind of tracks. Yeah.
Just talking about the venue here real quick at Matterley Basin. Second time we had the festival. Big event, isn't it?
Really big. There was a really nice track, and the atmosphere is always great with the English, and
Not too many people, or not too many venues. I was talking to Dr. Wolfgang a moment ago. There aren't too many venues that you could accommodate this event of this size. Motocross of Nations is different because it's only MX1, MX2 open, but you're still only limited to a certain number of riders, and therefore teams, and some of them are, like the Americans, for instance, the Japanese, the Australians, they don't bring their own vehicles. They're jumping on the back of you guys, for bikes and hospitality and that kind of thing. But in terms of the enormity, we only have to look around and see the vast area for the camping and everything else. It seems like it's a bigger event this year.
Yeah, it looks really, really big. I was here last week and it was empty, and then you come this week here again and there is so many campers already and people watching on Friday already all the races, and it's amazing. I think it's really good for the sport.
Yeah. Just while we're waiting for Neil Prince to arrive, the team manager for Team GBR, we've got the final Grand Prix in Lierop in 2 weeks' time. From your side, living in these parts, I guess from Tommy's point of view, sand has never really been his strongest point. Have you been working hard to address that? Is he going to be looking forward to going to Lierop this year?
Yeah, he has to. I mean, he's a professional rider, so you have to be good on any track. He's coming this week as soon as he can. So we're going to work really hard to get ready for Lierop.
Okay, well look, Harry Nolte, thanks for your time. General Manager for CLS Kawasaki Monster Energy Pro Circuit. In any order, I think it'll do, but that's the big titles. But I'm going to let Harry get back because our third guest has arrived. So Neil Prince, who is team manager for Team GB at the Motocross of Nations, the FIM Monster Energy Motocross of Nations. Of course, that's going to be in a couple of weeks. The end of September actually. In his spare time, he's a team manager for Heads and All Threads Suzuki, which runs a team in the Max's British Motocross Championship. He's got a bit of a huff and a puff on at the moment because he's just been out watching Graham Irwin in the MX2 practice or pre-qualifying session. How did it go for him, just real quick?
Very good. I think we ended up 20th. The times are really close, like we found in Volkenswaard this year, and he put a second on or jump you 10 places. So quite good. I think we've improved from Volkenswaard, but the class is competitive. Everybody is at such a level at the minute. It's surprising. Over 2-3 seconds you can have 20 guys. It's very good.
Track different today to what it was yesterday and Thursday, in terms of the speed the guys are going around, the dragon back just after the finish line, different combination, double quad, and the triple just across the start straight area. They're big jumps now, aren't they?
Yeah, to be honest, I mean, I was just watching with the other mechanic there, James, and across the start there's like a big triple down the hill, and to be honest, like nearly all them guys, when they jump that jump, as a rider you can see they're jumping it with a lot of caution because they have to hit it really, really fast, and there's not really anyone who's jumping it really smoothly. So it kind of brings home how big the jumps are and how much the level and the limit the guys are going to. It's quite impressive.
It's also a downhill, isn't it? It's like almost like a triple step down. Then you've got that very fast left-hander as well. If you make it, I guess, too far, too long, too quick, you're in danger of not even making that left-hander, right?
Definitely. Like in the first practice, Max Anstey was the first guy to jump in, and I was watching and I thought, my God, where's he going? Like he literally jumped nearly to the bottom of the hill, like over jumping it. So it's quite a very, very big jump that is.
Well, the reason why we've got you here, obviously you're team manager, Team Great Britain, Monster Energy Motocross Nations, like I say, at the end of September in Germany. It's your second year in the job. Before we talk about this year, how was it last year in your first year? A little bit of pressure, a little bit of stress, or?
Not really. I mean,
I'm just talking from the weight of expectation from the British nation.
It wasn't too bad, to be honest. I mean, the way I try and run, like I ran cast, like in the days I run that for many years, just try and do the best we can on the day. And I think I didn't really feel any pressure because the guys will feel like the riders. You try and take the pressure off them. But Lommel last year for all of us was like, I knew what we were going to before we even got there. And a lot of other teams got there, and it's a big, big challenge, that place. And as you know, as a rider, that's the type of place you go to where I walked the track, for instance, before the second race, and all I could say to the guys was, look, you're going to man up here and get on with the job, because the track was that rough. There was not one part of the track I could say, go to the left, go to the right, have a bit of a sit down, have a breather. There was not one part of the track, and there's always riders who excel in them conditions, and it's very, very tough conditions last year. For many teams. It made very good riders look a little bit amateurish to the
Yeah.
good riders, you know, and that kind of brings it home to you what conditions it was last year. It was very difficult for a lot of people.
Obviously, coming into this year, then, you know, I'm hoping to ask you a particular question before we leave here, and hopefully to get a particular answer. But your selection process this year, how do you go about making a selection, making a shortlist? And first of all, maybe who were the riders on the shortlist, and how did they come to be on it?
To be honest, obviously I follow the World Championships every week, and you know, like, you kind of look at who's doing the results at the time and how they're progressing. Because the other thing is, you know, you've also got to give other riders chances. And this year, you know, there's 3 or 4 good riders in the MX2 class, you know, who've shown good talent this year. So you've got to look at them guys. The MX1 class, there's Tommy. Like, he's the main man. Like, so pretty much in that class, he's gone from MX2 last year, where he was winning some races on very close to Hurlings in the World Championship, and this year he stepped to MX1, and I've been waiting to see how that goes. And to be honest, I think he's done damn well this year. He's been a rookie, and he's stepped up very well, and he's one of the fastest guys in the MX1 class, so it's fantastic, really.
So me, just watching, you know, week in, week out, I'm guessing your shortlist for MX2 was probably the likes of, you know, you probably put Elliot in there, and then Jake and Max. Your MX1, you know, you're probably looking at Sean, at Tommy, maybe even Jake on a bigger bike, that kind of thing. Maybe even Christian Watley, who's leading the British Championship at home.
Yes.
But, you know, Christian obviously doesn't do GP, so does that have a bearing on what you do in terms of potentially sticking him in an open class, for instance?
Well, to be honest, I have spoke to Christian, and I would definitely consider Christian. There's no question about that. Like, in the UK at the minute, he's riding superb, and he's beat a lot of really good riders at the moment in the UK. But obviously, you know, he needs to come and do an event like the World Championship, at least 1 or 2 events to get his feet in the water, really. Because, you know, if he can bring his speed, what he has in a British Championship, to a World Championship, that's a different story. You know, if you look at the MX2 example, is Elliot Banks-Brown is probably, in the UK, the strongest MX2 rider. And in the World Championship, it doesn't really relate into his results. So you kind of look at that, really, you know, and you know, many riders have been like that. You know, like, they can't bring what they have in the UK, bring it to the World Championship scene. And the guys, you know, you can see, you know, some guys can be, you know, the top guys can be 4 or 5 seconds ahead of like the 10 guys in the same bunch. So it's very, very close at the moment, very close.
Okay, so I guess the $64 million question, who's your team?
I don't know yet, no. Obviously Tommy's going to be MX1.
Yeah.
Jake's MX2. And Sean Simpson will be on the MX3 bike.
Wow, Sean Simpson.
Yep.
So obviously you've done enough, despite an up and down season then, changing bikes and teams and everything else to put himself in the frame.
Yeah, I mean, the last couple of GPs, he's got himself back up. You know, he's got himself putting in strong results, and you've got to look at that, and also, you know, swapping from a different bike to start the season. That takes a lot to do that, and to step up to do that. You know, you could just keep continuing, but if you're not happy, he's moved forward, and his results have come stronger the last few weeks. So he's got a 450, he's been riding it. He's for sure the strongest one at this time to go into the MX3 berth. Okay, Neil Prince, team manager from Team GBR, thank you very much for your insight, and also your exclusive on MX Live TV for your team selection for the upcoming event at Teushenthal at the end of September. Also thanks to Dr. Wolfgang Shrub and Harry Nolte. That's it for our live show this weekend at the MX Festival at Matterley Basin. Join us in 2 weeks' time at the final round at Lierop in the Netherlands when we do it all over again. Thanks for watching. We'll see you then. Bye for now. Thank you.